Chicago Sky head coach has reportedly suspended star player Angel Reese following her confrontation with Indiana Fever rookie sensation Caitlin Clark. The suspension comes after what many are calling a fight during their recent matchup, where tensions boiled over and resulted in a flagrant foul call that has since escalated into a full-blown controversy. The WNBA is looking into allegations of hateful fan comments, the league announced in the aftermath of the incident, but the situation has now taken a dramatic turn with Reese facing internal discipline from her own team. Sources close to the organization suggest the suspension stems not just from the on-court incident, but from Reese's conduct following the play and her response to the subsequent investigation. The confrontation that led to this unprecedented decision occurred during the third quarter of what had been a physically intense matchup between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever. Clark was called for a flagrant foul after making contact with Reese on a driving layup attempt, sending the Chicago Star to the floor. What happened next has been the subject of intense debate and scrutiny. Reese's reaction was immediate and confrontational, appearing to direct words toward Clark and attempting to approach her before being separated by teammates and officials. The Indianapolis crowd responded with a chorus of boos directed at Reese, creating an atmosphere that would later be characterized in wildly different ways depending on one's perspective. As the Fever pulled away for a dominant victory, the incident seemed momentarily contained to the court. However, within hours, allegations began circulating on social media that Indiana Fever fans had crossed the line from enthusiastic support to inappropriate behavior directed at Reese. The WNBA's swift announcement of an investigation legitimized these claims in the eyes of many, despite questions about their veracity. The WNBA strongly condemns racism, hate, and any form of discriminatory behavior, the league declared, setting the stage for what would become one of the most divisive episodes in recent basketball history. But the story has now taken an unexpected turn, with the Chicago Sky coach's decision to suspend Reese. According to team insiders, the organization was embarrassed by the entire episode and felt that Reese's actions both during and after the game violated team standards of professionalism. The suspension is reportedly indefinite, with Reese required to meet certain behavioral conditions before being reinstated to the active roster. The Chicago Sky organization's decision to suspend Reese comes after they had already released a statement that many viewed as doubling down on accusations from a false Twitter post regarding Indiana fans. This apparent inconsistency has led some to speculate that the suspension is more about damage control than genuine disciplinary concerns, particularly as the team faces criticism for amplifying unverified claims about the Fever fan base. ESPN's coverage of the suspension has been extensive, with commentators divided on whether the punishment fits the offense. Stephen A. puts Chiny and Monica on the spot, as one headline described it, referencing a heated segment where personalities were challenged on their framing of the controversy and their reactions to the suspension news. For the WNBA, the situation presents unprecedented challenges. The league has benefited enormously from the attention brought by Clark's arrival and her rivalry with established stars like Reese. Television ratings are up, social media engagement has exploded, and women's basketball is being discussed in mainstream spaces like never before. However, the current controversy and now this suspension threaten to overshadow the actual basketball being played. For Reese, the suspension represents a significant setback in what had been a promising start to her WNBA career. After starring at LSU and leading her team to a national championship over Clark's Iowa squad, Reese entered the professional ranks with high expectations and a reputation as a fierce competitor. Now, she finds herself sidelined indefinitely and facing questions about her temperament and professionalism. Clark, meanwhile, continues to excel on the court, breaking records and drawing unprecedented attention to the league. Her triple-double performance, which came in just her fourth professional game, would normally be the headline story. Instead, it has become a footnote in the larger narrative of controversy and conflict that now includes Reese's suspension. The Chicago Sky must now navigate the remainder of their schedule without one of their key players, at least temporarily. The team's performance during Reese's absence will be closely scrutinized, as will any statements from players or coaches regarding the suspension. If the team struggles, pressure may mount to reinstate Reese sooner rather than later, regardless of the original conditions set for her return. For the WNBA, the challenge is to find a way to harness the intense interest generated by the Clark-Reese rivalry without allowing it to devolve into the kind of off-court drama that now threatens to overshadow the game itself. The league's handling of both the investigation into fan behavior and its response to Reese's suspension will be critical in determining whether this moment becomes a positive turning point or a cautionary tale. As fans and media digest the news of Reese's suspension, the debate continues about what actually transpired during and after the game. Video footage has been analyzed frame by frame, witness accounts have been scrutinized, and social media posts have been dissected for clues about what really happened. The truth, as is often the case in such situations, likely lies somewhere in the middle of the competing narratives. What is clear is that women's basketball has captured the national attention in ways previously thought impossible. The challenge now is ensuring that this attention translates into sustainable growth, rather than fleeting controversy. The responsibility for this lies not just with the league and its players, but with media outlets, social media platforms, and fans themselves. As the season progresses, the hope is that the focus returns to where it belongs, on the court, where a new generation of extraordinary athletes is revolutionizing women's basketball and inspiring millions. The Clark-Reese rivalry has the potential to be one of sport's great stories, but only if it's allowed to develop organically through competition rather than being defined by suspensions, investigations, and off-court drama. For now, though, the basketball world waits to see when, or if, Angel Reese will return to action, and what the fallout from this suspension will mean for her career, for the Chicago Sky, and for the WNBA as a whole. One thing is certain, the story is far from over, and the next chapter promises to be just as compelling as what we've seen so far.